Elon Musk apparently all but endorses the Great Replacement conspiracy theory. Well, Vivek Ramaswamy, speaking at a town hall with, where was this? Was this the CNN town hall? No, this was the debate. He said the Great Replacement isn't a conspiracy theory, but Democrat policy. And he is telling you the truth. Now, what does it really mean, Great Replacement? It depends on who you ask. The Rolling Stone, right here, rollingstone.com, is likely going to try and convince you that Great Replacement means that Jewish people are trying to facilitate the replacement of white people. I'm sorry, my friends, that is a very stupid idea, and it's a misdirection. When people refer to Great Replacement, they can be referring to a variety of things. It's entirely possible someone could be referring to some weirdo conspiracy where they think Jews are doing everything, because I get tagged in these things all the time, and I'm like, first of all, I'm not Jewish, nor am I paid by anybody who is. We have friends who are Jewish, more power to them. But they love these conspiracies. So some people may refer to that, but that's not the majority of people. Many others may refer to Democrat policy, where you've had the likes of Van Jones say, we are asking white people to become the minority. And they actually talk about demographic change as a means of securing Democrat voters in the future. Okay, that being said, that's true. But some people don't even go that far. Some people just view replacement, the Great Replacement, as the fact that the southern border is porous and white people don't have babies. It's really that simple. Well, my friends, Elon Musk has a tweet. Data Hazard on X tweeted, American births versus illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants now outpaces American births. That trend continues. This country eventually becomes more non-citizen than citizen. Maybe it becomes naturalized citizen versus natural-born citizens, but Elon Musk tweeted, almost no one seems to be aware of the immense size and lightning growth of this issue. According to the mayors, it is already overwhelming essential services in New York, Chicago, and other cities. Well, how is that endorsing Great Replacement? Rolling Stone says Elon Musk, an immigrant from South Africa, kicked off 2024 with a slew of tweets attacking Biden over immigration, blah, 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 viewing them as future Dem voters. Since the end of December, Musk has left a graph pinned to the top of his profile that claims to show how more migrants are now arriving at the southern border than there are babies being born to American mothers. Almost no one seems to be aware of the immense size and lightning growth of the issue. And what does that mean? What does that mean? Why is that the Great Replacement? This notion, according to the Institute for Strategic Dialogue, a political advocacy group that combats extremism, holds that the national identities of Western nations are under threat due to increasing immigrant populations. Related narratives concern fears of declining birth rates among whites. Musk has warned of population collapse if people don't start having more babies, though demographers have dismissed this likelihood, which in tandem with fears of non-white immigration have allowed far-right extremists to paint a false picture of the unfolding, quote, white genocide. They say Musk has also dabbled in this conspiracy theory. Well, far be it for me to ignore your citation. Let's pull it up. We can't read it. Washington Post does not want us to read. But the article is titled, Elon Musk Raises the Specter of White Genocide. I got to be honest, I bet it is complete and total BS, and Elon Musk did no such thing, but they're exaggerating. They say, over the weekend, the Economic Freedom Fighters, a far-left South African political party, here we go. We'll wrap this one up neatly with a little bow, including John Fetterman, of course. Elon Musk is referring to when they're singing, kill the boer, blah, blah, blah. Okay. Rolling Stone is a bunch of crackpot activists, as exemplified by this, because it is a fact. December 20th, 2023, immigration drives second consecutive year of U.S. population growth, Census Bureau reveals. Now, of course, we have this tweet in question showing illegal immigrants outpace American births. But does that really even matter, my friends? Because the real issue is that immigration in general is driving population growth, not American births. This means that when you combine illegal with legal, there are more immigrants coming to the United States than there are Americans being born to American families. Of course, you need to understand the exponential issue that we face in this regard. If immigrants are having children in this country, they will have communal ties with their parents and less with their home country. And I'm not saying that to be a dick but it's just a fact. People care about their families. Look, where's your grandma from? If your grandmother is in a different country right now, you're going to be concerned about what happens there. A lot of people criticize Ben Shapiro because he cares so deeply about Israel. I actually tremendously respect that Ben Shapiro cares deeply about Israel and his family and friends who live there. And I will also point out, it's not an argument of quote-unquote dual loyalty to point out people care about their families. So this is one of the anti-Semitic attacks that they target Ben Shapiro with is the dual loyalty thing because he cares about where his extended family is. That being said, loyalty to a nation is completely immaterial. Vivek HQ, he's got on his great truths, he's got the nuclear family. I'm actually reading right here. The nuclear family is the greatest form of governance known to mankind. If you're born in this country and you have kids, and those kids have kids, those grandkids are going to care about their family. And they're going to say, whatever policies we enact in this country matters because it'll affect my family. Now, what if half your family lives in Mexico? The policies you'll be concerned about, of course, are going to be policies between the U.S. and Mexico. Well, my grandfather lives in Tijuana, and I'd love for him to be able to visit, but it's hard for him to get a visa. These laws matter to me. When Donald Trump says X, Y, or Z as it pertains to the southern border, I'm concerned because I want to see my grandfather. I respect that. That's not dual loyalty. That's concern for your family. Now, if the person was like actually working for the military of a foreign government, there's a question to be had about that. But in this instance, what we are seeing with massive immigration growth in this country and illegal immigration is that we will come to a point where instead of a group of people living in a city voting for their city, they're going to vote for a different country. And what I mean by that is, if you have 100 people who are fourth or fifth generation citizens, denizens, whatever, of a city, and a bill comes up saying, how should we spend our money? These people are going to say, you remember the old mill? I remember when I was a kid, I used to see the old mill. And it's sad to see it destroyed. It's fallen apart with time. It's been abandoned. I say we take our surplus and rebuild it. Put up a plaque and a sign so we can teach our children about the industry we once had in this town where we would mill grains and trade them and sell them. Everyone else who lives there goes, that's a great idea. I too remember seeing the old mill when I was a kid, and it's sad to see it in disrepair. The surplus revenues that they have, either through taxation or whatever, go towards revitalizing the old mill, putting up a plaque, and making a landmark, a museum, something to remind these people of who they are and where they come from. And in the future, when no one actually uses windmills and they can grind wheat up very easily, probably in their home blender, they can say, that's what we used to do and who we used to be. Let's go back in time. The old mill is in disrepair. Only this time, 40% of the people who live there are not from there at all. Let's say they're still American. And they move there, and one person says, I want the old mill to be fixed. A bunch of other people say, I remember the old mill. And the people who aren't from there be like, who cares about an old mill? We should build a water park. Like, let's actually build some attractions. Let's build a new shopping center, a mall. Let's attract tourism. Hey, not all bad. Let's build up industry. I get it. But now, the old mill is in dispute. And that amazing legacy may be forgotten. But eventually they say, listen, this matters to us, and they agree. Now let's try this one again. Half of the population are immigrants from other countries, and they say we want to revitalize this old mill. And then one guy stands up and says, the crisis happening in country X is so alarming, we should send our money there. And all of his friends from the same country, half the population, agree. Our surplus revenue, welcome to democracy. Now you're in dispute over whether or not to fix up your hometown and revitalize your landmarks or send money to a foreign country. That is what is happening in the United States right now. And it's not just that. There may not even be a surplus because the people who move here, and I respect this, want to send money back to their families. It's a good thing you care about your family. Someone moves to America, they make money, wire it right back to their home country. That money leaves the community, and the community needs to find ways to bring money in. I love this idea of the local currencies. You may be familiar with the Ithaca hour. I believe it's mostly fallen out of use. Sad. But there's something about a currency they can't leave that matters. As long as everyone agrees the currency has value as a trade medium and it represents labor, then if you're in a small town of 100 people and you make your own currency, that currency never goes anywhere. The trade can keep happening. But what happens when you go to a national currency and someone takes that national currency and sends it somewhere else, and now there's no money to trade with? If you can't just print the money, because the federal government or the Fed does, then what do? This is why I like the idea of local currencies, but as an aside, the point here is these small towns will suffer because of this mass migration. They're going to suffer because money will be shipped away. They're going to shipped away. They're going to suffer because the people who move in won't vote for the same things as that community. And there's something lost there, and it's quite sad. A lot of people talk about global homogenization, and that worries me. I don't like that idea. And the reason why is that I like diversity. Yeah, they don't. I like the idea that I can go to New Orleans and experience New Orleans, and it's what it is. One of the last few unique places, but sure enough, one by one, Starbucks will move in, When I went to Nassau in the Bahamas, I was really excited, like, oh, this will be interesting. And what did I find? Hard Rock Cafe, Starbucks, etc. That's homogenization, and that's vomitous and gross. If we just take all the people of the world and mix them all up and shake them in a big shaker and then drop them, we're going to get a bunch of the exact same stuff everywhere, and there will be no spice of life. They say diversity is the spice of life. The idea being that you can go to Japan and experience Japanese culture. You can go to Spain and enjoy Spanish culture. I love it. That's the real diversity. But with all of these different people from all over the world coming to the United States, everyone's going to vote for their interests. Eventually, you're going to get this just mass homogenization because with the mass voting of all these different groups from all over the place, you'll get lowest common denominator. I'll give you an example. Comedy in this country, George Carlin. He gets up on stage and he says, here are the words you can't say, and everyone in America understands the humor because it's part of their culture. Now what we're getting online are these videos of gag comedy with no words. No one speaks. Why? It's called lowest common denominator. When everyone speaks a different language, but you want to maximize revenue, make a visual gag comedy show. Ow my balls. That's not literally what they're making. They're making funny gags where like a guy replaces someone's car and then he comes out and goes, oh, but no one says a word. But we're seriously entering the era of ow my balls. Universally funny. A guy got punched in the balls. I love it. Elon Musk is not all but, what does it say, embracing, endorsing great replacement theory. He's highlighting a real fact-based phenomenon which has people concerned. Rightly so. I hope you vote. I'll leave it there. Next segment is coming up tonight at 8 p.m. over at youtube.com/TimcastIRL. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you all then.